Welcome to Zeiss Full Exposure, the video podcast that goes behind the scenes with some of the industry's most innovative visual storytellers. Now here's your host, photographer and filmmaker, Jim Camp.
Each year in October, thousands of pro photographers and enthusiasts descend on the Javits Convention Center in Midtown Manhattan to fork over $15 for a cold turkey sandwich, listen to experts in the field, and fondle the latest gear at the largest photo equipment exhibit in the U.S. The 2019 Photoplus Expo was no exception. We sat down to chat with just a few of these photographers at the most recent expo. Jason Vong and Vivienne Lee are not just content creators, but workshop leaders, hybrid film photo shooters, and popular influencers. Their engaging YouTube banter and tech tips has helped them garner a huge following of photo enthusiasts on social media. They joined us at Photoplus to talk about how they started and gave tips on developing one's individual style by encouraging community engagement and infusing personality into content.
Jason, Vivienne,
Jim.
it's great to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thanks for having us.
It's like our yearly reunion.
Yes.
It's been a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a year.
Wow.
It's great to see you guys.
Thank you.
So you just got finished with the presentation. It was pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about what I don't think you maybe touched on too much in your presentation, which is your social network and your influencing. How did you guys get started on that? And how did that sort of evolve?
Ooh. I was doing weddings, and I was also working for a production company, and I was just looking for a camera that could do both photos and videos. And I think at the time, not a lot of companies had a camera that can really do both really well. So we were just like, hey, why not check out this Sony and see, where would it take us? And then I realized that because the topic was so new at the time on YouTube, like not a lot of people were talking about Sony cameras. So I personally myself learned a lot about photography and videography on YouTube. And I just want to contribute back to the YouTube platform. So why not talk about, this amazing hybrid system on YouTube and share my knowledge to the rest of the world, And they started asking, well, how the heck did you get those amazing shots? Much like today, people were asking us after the presentation, they were like, we want to hear more about how you got the shot, not so much on the gear. And for us, we're like, wow, okay, let's pivot to educational content.
It's actually kind of funny, like when we were like just getting started, Jason had like pulled up two images on a computer and he was like, okay, between these two images, you tell me which one you like better. And he didn't tell me anything about them. He was just like, look at these two, which one do you like? And, at the time when we started, I wasn't that experienced with like cameras or photos or videos. And I was just like, I like that one. And it was like the Sony system. So he was like, okay, then that's the one I'm going to get. And that's what I'm going to start my YouTube channel on.
For us, we kind of lose sight of how much a platform is changing, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. We really just get caught up with the whole social media, and we keep posting, and little did we know we're just sort of learning on the spot. It's not like something that's like textbook for us. If you're not actually making it happen yourself, you're gonna get so lost about what these people are talking about. So for me, I think it's like really important to practice social media, to really just post a lot, post on Instagram, post on Facebook, post on YouTube, because you're learning bit by bit every day, and before you know it, your whatever it is you're doing could take off so fast that you don't even have time to keep up. And until maybe now, when you're asking me the question, you're like, well, how much has it changed? I'm like, actually quite a bit. What we do and what made us just be where we are today is, we're true to ourselves and we're true with our personality. And what we notice, with all this social media is that people are subscribing for what we have to say, subscribing for our opinion and our personality. People like that me and her bicker a lot on camera. I didn't think people would like to see that, but they're like, we really like you guys. Yeah, I mean, with the mixture of just trying to practice social media, it's always good to always put a little bit of our, personality into the content that we create.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned differentiating. There's a lot of stuff out there, So yeah, part of it is you have great personalities. You're bubbly. Do you think about that in growing your viewer base and so on in a way of differentiating yourself, like marketing?
I think it is like a marketing tactic. I think, like I said, like you mentioned too, like with this space growing the way it is.
That sounds so like weird.
Marketing.
Your personality is a marketing tactic.
I mean, if you think about it, at the end of the day, like people have told us, like we ourselves, like we have to build our own personal brand. And if that personal brand is like our personalities or just the things that we say or like little catchphrases that we say every so often, like that's part of the personal brand that we're trying to build. There was like things that people were picking up from our videos that people really liked. And we're just like, hey, like in order for us to grow and like to stay current and for people to really keep coming back is we have to give them a little bit more about ourselves, open up a little bit more. Yeah.
We have to open up.
Build our own brand.
So how do you balance working? Because you're shooting, you got to shoot stuff. So how do you balance that with being personalities as well?
Should we be honest?
We haven't found that balance yet.
Should we be honest?
Very honest with you.
Yes,
we have
honest.
not found that balance yet.
I mean, a lot of that really just kind of like really kicked us in the butt. It all finally caught up to me like about a couple months ago. I was feeling extremely, extremely burnt out. I was just telling her, I was like, man, this is so hard to try to upload video constantly, trying to like uphold this like excitement, because sometimes you could be burnt out from all the work that you do. A lot of it just comes down to time management.
We started going really fast. Like things started picking up more, opportunities came, deals came, and things like that. And we got into this mindset that we just had to keep doing more and more and more in order to stay relevant and to stay current. Like we were really scared if we took a pause or if we, didn't do like a certain project that, all the opportunities would stop coming.
We actually talked to a lot of other creators that are on YouTube, and it's okay to take that break. Yes, she brought up like the fear of just keep on having to keep uploading and always have to really put ourselves out there. But we've spoke with several creators who've been doing way longer than we have been doing, and they're like, we were exactly in the same position, but we got out of it. I mean, it comes and goes, but you learn how to deal with it better and better, and just you really have to take that break and enjoy yourself and have that work and play balance.
What kind of advice would you give to anybody who's thinking, you've been in it for a while, kind of an eternity for the social media world, 3 or 4 years. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just maybe getting into it or just wanting to get into it? And like you said, remaining relevant, differentiating, all those kind of things.
I think my biggest advice would be really when they're starting is kind of like a consistency, keep on posting. And with that, I want to say keep on posting the things that you want to post. We worked really hard on like being like perfectionists and having everything like perfect, but then that of course sometimes that affects like our schedules and things like that, and that also affects like our mental state where we feel like, oh, it's not ready, we shouldn't put it up. But we want to say like to people, like just put it up, like keep that consistent schedule. And in terms of staying relevant, just do things that's like true to yourself and something that you personally are proud of, because then when you're putting out like your best work, like you're happy about it, whether or not it's like the most current trend or not. Just really like posting what you love and what you're passionate about.
I would say my advice is, we brought up the whole hybrid shooter community, it's just to be involved in what it is that you're doing. You don't want to be like completely deaf to whatever social commentary that is out there, especially with the content that you're making. You have to be involved with what the community is saying. So for me personally, I'm always part of the conversation. I join all these Facebook groups about Sony or Zeiss, with anybody that has any questions about their camera gear or whatever it is they're experiencing, or whatever it is the current project they're using, like kind of understanding like what are some of these common issues that other people are having, what can I do to help, and what can I do to make a video out of to help even more people.
Community is like most important for us. I think finding that, like in terms of like staying relevant and keeping like your schedule of posting content and stuff, it's really getting out there and getting involved in your community, meet other creators, meet other people that are doing photos, videos, whatever it is that you are doing, because then that builds that network of support. And I think once we kind of found that support network, we started to feel like a lot more, like happy and confident with the work that we're doing, and we felt, less isolated. That's really like the most important thing, is spread out. Don't be scared to ask for help, and like get to meet other people, and that way you stay creatively focused too as well, and they'll inspire you and you'll inspire them.
That's great. What a great way to end.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Great to see you guys again.
Fantastic.
Oh,
thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
What do you get when you combine over 125 years of camera lens heritage and the latest in autofocus technology? The Zeiss Bodice. Engineered exclusively for Sony mirrorless full-frame sensor cameras, the Zeiss Bodice delivers perfect corner-to-corner image quality. With enhanced protection against the elements, the Zeiss Bodice is built to help you push past life's obstacles. Zeiss Bodice, the perfect lens for wherever your passion leads you.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time for another edition of Zeiss Full Exposure. If you can't watch, you can always catch the audio-only version on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Zeiss_Full Exposure or on the web at ZeissFullExposure.com. And to learn more about the latest in Zeiss lenses, head to Zeiss.com.